I think we're live. Yes. Sure. All right. Who do we got? I just saw, who did I just see go by? Fiesta Pa. You got Jeff D. Got Trolls, Metal Maniac, PKJM, Demont, Larry, John, Nick, Dread Zeppelin, Yeti Matsi, Super Lead 100. Got James, Barry, Dave, and John. We got both of them? We do. BC Rich, Craig C, got Eric, got Mark, got Dennis, Retro Puffer. Deanna. What's up, Kevin? Martian Murray. Tulsa Dave. I'm just thinking if Hendrix was still alive, he'd probably be playing a PRS McCarty. Probably. We can only speculate. What's up, Double R Guitar? Speaker! What's up, dude? Speaker and I hung out the other night at the Buckethead show. Went and saw the Buckethead, which was a pretty good show. To be honest, I will talk about it later. I just liked it when he played to the backing tracks. Thought it kind of sounded better. But that's just me. He was still, killer playing. Got Foxhound, got Chris, you got Terry, got Ian. What's up, Seth? John said he liked the color of the PRS. It's pretty good. Nice color. Yeah. It's like that blue that, it's kind of bluey. They actually make one that's got a lot more black in it. And again, the top pops, depending on the angle, it can kind of disappear at certain angles. All right. The angle of the dangle. Right there. In my listing, I was reading off the spec sheet. The spec said they were the S pickups, but as people pointed out, no, that's how it used to be. They just never updated the spec sheet. I'm reading the spec sheet, I'm like, okay, whatever. What's up, Robert? What's up, Desert Doug? What's up, Zach? Buckethead's still playing with the band. That he's playing with a drummer. You know, and just sort of plays, I think, with the drummer, and maybe there was a backing track of bass going on there. It's hard to tell. And then he plays bass, and some chick comes out and plays guitar, but I don't think it's the same chick singing last year. I think it's someone else. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's tough to tell. She was kind of wearing a disguise with a big headgear, and a little tough to see. I think sunglasses or some shit. Tough to see her. But he sounded amazing a couple of times. He was like really turning on the jets and like absolutely killing it. But we couldn't see. You know, he came on very late. He sort of he was late getting on stage, and it felt like maybe they weren't going to take a break. And he had some technical difficulties. So that's what it looked like. So you can see he's out there with a drummer. Then at some point he picks up this bass, and some chick comes out and gets this guitar, and they do a little jam. With just the drummer, at one point they did whatchamacallit there, War Pigs. And the drummer sang it. It was very poorly lit, too. It was like one of the darkest shows I've been to. Like, for real. Like what is going on here? Like, really dimly lit. And, kind of bizarro. There you go. Nice. I'm just trying to screw up the copyright. He was doing a lot of this. Like, that's a lot of crazy, like, right? Like, he had this effect built in. Make it sound like a cat. That's when you go to a Buckethead show. Sure. There you go. A lot of notes. All right. I probably got 10 copyright strikes. So, it was a pretty good show. We had to leave early because if we missed the train we needed to catch was at 10:10. It was about a 20-minute walk from the theater. The train after that is an hour and like 45 minutes later. So it'd be like at 11:55 instead of 10:10. It's not like this one coming at 10:45 or even 11 or even 11:15 or even 11:30. The next train is 11:55. And we were like, And that train has more stops because it's the last train. So they stop at every friggin' stop. There's no like jetting through certain areas. So it's a slower train. We wouldn't have been home till like almost 1 a.m. So we cut out. He didn't take a break. We left mid-tune because it didn't look. I mean, he had been going a good hour and hadn't taken a break. So. Yeah, it was really dark in there. I don't know what it was about that night, but they, wasn't even a song. Just so like, no, there's a melody going on in there. He's going through changes. You can hear it. Even with those heavy runs, towards the end, that's not that stuff is just trying to sound like the old computer bleep blurps. One cool thing was that he did. I'm trying to think of the tune. He definitely did Jordan. He definitely did Big Sur Moon. So he stuck with his main catalog. Trying to think of other tunes. I thought the tune with the chick was just sort of meh. You know, it's hard to watch another guitar player when Buckethead's in the room. It's like just, you know. Just saying because of copyright strikes, yeah. I hear you. But he'd probably have a case. Not only that, but it's a live performance, so. They had a funny, like, warning at the start of the show. Like, absolutely no photography, no videography, no, like, it was like, no heckling will be tolerated. You know, heckling. That's funny. You wonder if there was just a comedian there and they just ran that shit. I've never heard them play that at a show. You know, heckling. What the hell are you talking about? It hasn't been a KFC bucket for a while. He sells buckets. He sells a Buckethead hat, which is literally a bucket hat with the red striping down the sides. And he sells all that merch. No, he knows what he's doing. You can't do it with KFC. They want to cut. You gotta just make your own and call it a parody. He did definitely did some robo dancing, and it was pretty damn good. His robo work, because he had the guitar like off like this to the side, and he was still playing with his left hand over the top and doing the robo dance, and holy shit, it was like, damn, he is, yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Hard to play guitar and do that at the same time. And at one point he was playing the guitar, and he had the nunchucks going in the other hand. Little nunchuck action. You know, and in many ways, you know, Buckethead knows that he's a bit of a parody. Right? It's a bit, it's campy, it's kitsch. Ghosts not allowing any cell phones in the venue, really. Why I don't go to shows anymore. I need to incorporate robo dancing and nunchucks in the show. They'll just call it a Buckethead copy, but sure. Sure. Ugh. Could do it. Yeah, exactly. He's a multi-talent. I hear you sound through THU, but can you play through other amps? Not really, because I'm not set up to record any live mics. And I don't think the PV Viper has a line out, and even if it did, it wouldn't sound that good. I can have the audio can't go from through the air. Always has to be direct. So that leaves me with few choices. And I went with the best one, which I think is THU. A Viper Pro is stereo over USB? Really? I find that hard to believe. Buckethead Vi album. Yeah, that could be interesting. Definitely. Try and out-weird each other. It's a weird off. Did it for many years with EVH2, really? Or they have chunky neck size. I feel, it's a little, it's definitely vintagey, but it's not the biggest neck. I think the Gibson 50s is a bigger neck. Not huge, but certainly not their thin neck like those SEs had a thinner neck that I had. But not bad. It's not the CE that I have, I feel like it's a touch wider. I'll bet it's just a hair wider down at the nut. But it feels thinner front to back. Not as chunky overall, but definitely a little bit wider. Or it's the same width and just thinner, and so that makes it, you perceive it as wider, right? Because it doesn't have as much going on. Did you see PRS is working on a truss rod-less guitar? I did see that. Interesting. I'm assuming they're going to try to put something inside the neck that won't move, but I just have a hard time believing it. I think the only ones that have been successfully truss rod-less have been made out of like metal, but even metal will move. Really like carbon fiber to some degree, right? Because it's stiffer and less likely to move. But even the carbon fiber one that I had moved, and I remember straightening it out and saying, "Wow, what a difference in the action on this! It's so much nicer, with the truss rod tightened down." So, be interesting to see how they do it. Unless it's the same thing, It's the same action. It's just not a truss rod, right? Oh, you have something to counteract the weight of the pull of the strings. It's just not a rod, right? There's something else that they use, a cantilever. I did see that Tim Pierce guitar. I did. Going through THU, you have more options and more updates, yeah. Still sad, Peavey pretty much dumped the line. I feel like Peavey's on their last legs. I mean, is it me? When's the last time you saw a big, new, exciting Peavey release? Been pretty quiet. You know? Probably what, the like Invector or Invection there? And that was like 10 years ago. A Robo Truss Rod, what could go wrong? Some of the free amp sims compared to like Tonex, yeah. The problem with Tonex is that even if you get the free one, you have to go through all this stupid licensing bullshit to get it to run, which I'm not crazy about. I really don't like IK Multimedia's, you know, friggin' licensing scheme. Big pain in the ass. And the problem with the free ones is that some of them, you know, there was a huge rush, I would say, about 10 years ago. A lot of stuff getting put out, and then it all sort of quieted, you know, calmed down. You don't see nearly as much as you did like 10 years ago when people were putting out amps, VST amps, left and right. You can still go up and find some free VSTs, but you've got to... those free VSTs, you know, they're usually just an amp. And so if you want any sort of an effect, you've got to go and install an effect in the signal chain, right? Which is easy enough to do, but again, it's all a la carte instead of having one place to go like THU. It's like, why am I complicating this? What's wrong with THU? Why can't we just stick with this? What's wrong with the sound I have? Right? If it ain't broke, what am I fixing? Accidental guitar purchase, it happens. You just went out for a walk and you came home with a guitar. You know. Free software could mean stocking software sometimes too. Yeah, usually what I would do is I'd go to like free VSTs. There's a website that just aggregates all that, and then you just sort by rating. Let the community tell you which ones are shit and which ones are good. And the ones with the highest ratings they sound better than the ones that have shitty ratings. You just sort by rating, and you work your way from the top on the way down, and you do it for everything. They have a whole section just on effects, reverbs, OD box, everything, amps. Just go to I think it's called free VSTs. Is that what it's called? Something VST. used to have a link right to it. Maybe not. Is this it? Yeah. Here you go. Plugins for free. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, but you want to go to not instruments and samplers. There's effects. Go to effects. And then it's broken into different types. They might even have just, did they have a section just for guitar? No, it's samplers, synths. Alright, probably under effects. And preamp, sim, EQ, spectral, time, reverb, miscellaneous guitar amp, and then just go by best rated. Right, the ones with 5 stars. Just download those. Classic 30, the crunk, the diode, the gunner, the jam, the jump. And just go sorting through that shit. It looks like at least 17 pages. And I'm sure you'll find something. You'll also need a cab. There's probably a separate cab. That could be under frequency. No. That's preamp and sim. I don't know if they have. You might need to bring your own IRs. But anyway, you'll figure it out. I'm sticking with THU. Steve, during the Guitar of the Week, continue to doing the yoink. Splorch. I get all my sound effects from Don Martin. Just that if someone can't afford a paid version. They make free versions of Amplitude. They make free versions of Guitar Rig. I think there's a free version of THU. There's free stuff out there. You don't have to buy the full version of THU. Yeah, you can buy like a rock pack, and they'll give you the player, so you can at least play the pack you bought. You know, it's pretty good. There's a lot of low-cost options out there, for sure. And in fact, I think there's a free, like you were saying, there's a free Tonex too. So, yeah, and Blue Cat Audio has some free stuff. And they have some really crazy delays. Oh, we have some new members. Here we go. Who do we have? Stuart R. Steve Rezer, Europa 27, Guitar Talk Universe, Michael D, 8393, Shame, This is a very low-pitched bell. It's because I did the A. That was the A and the D. It might be better. I think it's a little brighter because you get the plain string. Shame. 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 we'll send you the pamphlet. So you've decided to throw your life away. Isn't that what isn't that when Homer goes to Lamar's class, right? When Marge gets pregnant, they give him pamphlets. So you've decided to throw your life away. Biddly-boot. But that works for anything. Right? Yeah, I went to go buy a guitar and they handed me a pamphlet, so you decided to throw your life away. I do. So yeah, I've been on a friggin' buying spree for the handhelds, because the writing is on the wall that they'll be tougher to get. So any one that I was sort of missing, I picked one up. So I've been on a bit of a tear. I picked up like 4 more. I think in the last like few weeks, I think I've picked up like 10 units. Well, you know. I got 3 from the same company. 2, well, 1 I ordered. I said, well, you know what? Before I can't get it, this is like a while ago. I was like, you better order it now because it's going to take a while. It takes weeks to get it. So just get it now before, the end of the month. So I ordered it up. It was taking like so friggin' forever to get shipped and get to me. I was like, oh my God. And then I had heard that they were down to the last couple of days for ordering. And if you were to order, just go through DHL because even though it's more money, it's much faster. So I said, okay, and one of the units I wanted, because they didn't have it by itself. You had to buy it in a bundle, which is annoying as shit. But I didn't have the other one that it was bundled with. And my daughter's boyfriend said he really wanted to get one of those, and he really didn't even know how to do it. I said, I'll figure it out. So I got the bundle, which saves $30 too. And I did the DHL shipping, and they like passed, even though they're weeks apart, got the first one like literally a couple days later through DHL, like literally like 3 days around the world. Incredible. And then the second one, they took a little bit to ship because it wasn't quite ready, but that's on the way too. So I got like 2 this week. They're Pocket 2, which I gave to him today. He couldn't believe it. He's in like shock. And then I also just got, remember that R36S? They have an R36S Plus now. So same chipset, but the Wi-Fi is built in. You don't have to put a Wi-Fi dongle on it. And 720 by 720p screen. So a little bit higher res. That's pretty nice. And I got 2 more coming. I got his, and then I have 2 more coming on Monday. Oh, and I got this one too. That's right. And this one here, which is a what is this? This is an Ambernick RG35XX SP. These are the cheaper ones. The one I got him was a little pricey, but worth it. The thing about this is that it's a little clamshell, right? Little clamshell style. Oh, pretty cool, right, like that, So, but these are much cheaper, right? Because they're small and not like the big boys. Also, just while we're on top of the handhelds, that they dropped that Anbernic RG557. I almost bought one, but because I'm in the U.S., I couldn't get one. Thank God, because the early reports are coming out, and basically that it's got a new chipset, and new chipsets, they very often don't work with software. It's like you need to have a chipset that's very supported, by the community, right? Because this is all using, third-party custom firmware. Which are basically micro Linux distributions, if not a custom version of Android. So out comes that Anbernic RG557, and one of the big dudes who covers this stuff, he's like literally ESDE won't even boot. And it hangs up. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Who's gonna buy it if you can't even run your friggin' software on it? Can't get Dolphin to work. That's a huge problem. So I would steer clear of that RG 557. I have the 556. It's awesome. It's like one of my favorite handhelds. It's gorgeous. It's got an AMOLED screen. It's super bright. It's super colorful. Everything runs perfect on it. It can play up through PS2 generation, so GameCube, PS2, Wii, stuff like that. Sort of early 2000s-ish. Nintendo's always a little bit more lightweight. So maybe you can go through Wii with it, but that new one, my God, what a catastrophic failure! That's gotta hurt, because the early reviews are coming out and they're like, I can't get the software to run on it. That's what you're supposed to do. So if you can't do that, who's gonna friggin' buy it, You got an R36S last week? Yeah. The R36S is friggin' awesome. I got a second one just because I wanted to run a different... I have one loaded with ArcOS as the operating system, and I have the other one loaded up with Rocknix. Problem is not all parts of PCs are exempt. Yeah, no, it gets a little weird. So the exemption used to be anything below $800 because, we can't be stopping every little package that comes through. So if the item is shipped with a value of less than $800, $799.99 and lower, it's not subject to a tariff. And so it just goes right through. So when they first announced the tariffs, they said, oh, and there's no exemption. In other words, 1 penny gets it, right, has to be a tariff, right? There's no exemption. It starts at 0 instead of starts at 800. And so the United States Postal Service says, well, we're not going to take the packages. We can't process that. We're not set up to... We get so many. We get millions of packages, tiny little packages, coming through customs. We can't process that. And so they backed off it. And they said, well, we're going to do it, but down the road, to be prepared. So the Chinese companies don't want to account for it because then you have to declare a value, which you have to do anyway, but it's different if it's over a certain amount, or they don't want to do it. So they're not going to accept packages, from what I understand. Most shippers out of China won't accept packages starting yesterday. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's why I just want to get my order in and get my shit now. I also got my, what showed up in my, my pressure washer. And goddamn, that thing is awesome. It totally kicks ass. It's Westinghouse, so I don't think, Westinghouse is a brand that is just a trademark company owned by a company in California. The Westinghouse Television is a Chinese company. They bought the license, but only for, right, because trademarks are sold by area. So the trademark for televisions is owned by a Chinese company who bought it for the televisions. But that's not a pressure washer. So I don't know who owns the pressure washer. You know. 3,400 is the PSI. A 3-hour-long Gamers Nexus video. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a really, God, that's like a friggin' documentary. It's really good because he goes to all the industry people and says, well, you know, like, how can we get around this? And they paint a very bleak picture of no one's building a factory here. Even if you did, you wouldn't be able to get the materials here. Like, it was pretty bleak, you know. And Home Depot's talking like, you know, there could be some bare shelves because we rely on this stock, and if we can't get it here through, you know, shipping, then we're just not going to have it. Your wife bought a pressure washer that sucks bungholes. Well, I have an electric one that I use for light-duty stuff, and it's not bad, but, man, it's nothing like a gas one. You know, I don't care what they say on that electrical one. It is just not the same as gas. That gas one would cut your freaking... If you had that on the 0 degree and you ran that across your foot, it would cut your foot in half. It would cut right through your friggin' leg. That thing is friggin' brutal. Literally cut your foot in half. Yeah, no, seriously. I had a friend who had, it was a gas one, and he lost control of the wand. He was barefoot and went across the top of his foot. What you cannot, and he pulled it away immediately. It was too late. That thing cut a gash in his foot. Oh my God. I am like, you cannot, dude, this is like one of the worst injuries I have. This is stunningly bad. I'll be fine. I'm fine. It's just a scratch. Like, dude. Oh my God. I'm pretty sure I can see your bones and tendons in that freaking gash. He's like, yeah, it'll heal. I'll be fine. I'm like, dude, what are you thinking? Oh my God. It's like, first of all, what are you doing pressure washing barefoot, man? Just a flesh wound. Got a Ryobi 1800 PSI electric. I have like a 2200 PSI. It's probably like a Sun Joe. You know, one of those Amazon ones. And it's been good. I think I got it for Christmas a few years ago, and it's been good. You know, so it's okay. But if you have, like, I'll say this: I did the plastic furniture that had been gotten so friggin' filthy. I have white, you know, plastic lawn chairs. I went over it with the Westinghouse. They're like brand new. They look unbelievable. It's like so good that the 22 PSI could never quite get them that clean. I mean, do a good job, take off the surface stuff, but not absolutely strip it down to the bare plastic and just, you know, it's like brand new chairs. They look unbelievable. So I have a Sun Joe, won't wash your car for crap. You know, they're good for light duty stuff. But I'm with you. Yeah. They're good for like taking pollen off the windows from a distance, right? They're good for like cleaning the pollen up off the front porch floor. But if you're looking for real decent cleanup, and it can do okay with some of the chair stuff. You know, it's not terrible, but yeah, I'll use it to prep a surface before painting. You know, it's okay, but not like the gas one. Yeah, oh my God, the gas one. It's literally like night and day. You know, the problem is you gotta keep up with stabilizers. God, the carburetors on these friggin' units, the jets are so friggin' tiny the Clogmaster 3000s, every single one of them. So it's like if you don't keep up with stabilizers and thinners to make sure you don't get the slightest bit of gel buildup in that in the jet, you know, it's like these things choke like crazy. It's annoying. Do I have a cold? I don't think so. I am just getting over a cold though. But, oh, I can breathe. I'd say I was worse like 4 or 5 days ago. I see Shedeur Sanders went to the Cleveland Browns. You guys are going all the way. So it was he pretty. I think Shedeur Sanders was pretty much the loser of the draft, right? I mean, what bigger loser stands out in your mind in this draft than Shedeur Sanders? A lot of hype on the kid, mainly from his family, right? He's the son of Deion Sanders, who's known to be a bit of a talker, and so yeah, I guess he went into a lot of his interviews a little cocky. And, you know, rub people the wrong way. And they're like, you don't really have the skill set to back it up. And we've got to take on the baggage of your loudmouth dad. So, you know, here's a dude who thought he was going in the first round, and he finally got picked up in the 5th round. And so, in terms of like, you know, a player in free fall, I would say that name was by far the biggest name in this draft as someone that was like a top prospect, or at least trying to position himself as a top prospect, and had a precipitous fall from the 1st round to the 5th. Yeah, he was projected to go in the 1st round, but was he though? Who was making that projection? It's like, I feel like that, you know, he might have had just a really good campaign. I don't think these kids don't embark on campaigns and have media people that are trying to push, you know, trying to push names out. But I think that he didn't do that great in the in the combine, and what I had heard was that he showed up like a bit of a douchebag at the, you know, at the interviews, you know. And they're like, yeah, you're not good enough to walk around and talk shit like that. You're just not that good a player. So, and again, you got to take on the baggage of his dad, who's been known to talk. So, you really need his dad criticizing it? And wasn't he the 2nd QB picked up by Cleveland? So there's a chance, and probably not a small one, that he's the backup quarterback. I mean, I'm sure there'll be maybe a competition for the starting job, but they clearly took this other kid first. Right? Am I wrong on that? Didn't they start with a different quarterback as their first? Or maybe I'm wrong. I thought they took a quarterback in the earlier rounds. That tells me they're seeing him as the backup. I blame Deion. Deion Sanders? No, Celine Dion. Yeah, right? Yeah, this is number 2. So, you know, that doesn't bode well. It's not like, well, they picked it up and they needed a quarterback, you know, or they have some famous established quarterback and they just need a good backup for that, you know. So, yeah, no, it's I would say if there was a name that sort of stuck out in this draft as, you know, someone who definitely went way below where the buzz was prior to the draft, it's that dude. Is there EVH news? There is EVH news. Now, part of me thinks that this is a bit of shrinkflation going on here. You know what I'm talking about. Ooh. Let's go to... That's it? Yeah, there we go. No. God, they can't leave me alone. There you go. Yeah, it's these new, this Wolfgang Standard, right, Tom, which is the Tune-O-Matic. And it's basically, let's go with one that makes the hardware pop. There you go. Now you can see it better. Okay, so what's the difference? Well, you don't you don't get the cool knobs. They're switching this to speed knobs, which, you know, versus the knobs that have the ridges on them. This is a cheaper knob. This is absolutely way more standard, way more available out there, and you can buy these for a lot less money than the one that has the ridged, you know, the sides, right? What did they call that? Was that like a radio knob? I forget the name of the, or like a radar knob. There's a name for the one with the hash mark, and I can't think of it. But, you know, it's got the ridge sides and it's got the line, right? That's a more expensive knob. This is a cheaper knob. Same with the bridge, right? The bridge is normally a Floyd Rose special. Now they're doing the Tune-O-Matic. This is cheaper. It's less routing. You don't have to do the hardware in the back. You don't have to do the nut, right? This is cheaper. And it's coming in at $599. Now, when I bought mine used, I think I paid $325 for mine. They were $599. Oh, no, I paid $425. I'm sorry, $425 I paid for mine. They were $399. I mean, I'm sorry, $399. They were $599. I think the one that I just described with the Floyd Rose and everything, I think those are going to $750. And this is your new $599 option. They wanted to keep the $599, and what we call shrinkflation, right? So they have to lower the cost to get it at that price point. They can't meet that price point with the prior build. That old recipe is just that old. It is roasted, though. I don't think mine is. And that is more expensive, because it takes energy to roast that neck. So it's not like it's free. But they probably found out that they have fewer problems when they use a roasted neck. Less fret sprout, right? Stronger, more stable necks. It seems to be, but it does feel like a little bit of shrinkflation. Yeah, right. The MXR knob, you know the one. Does feel like a little bit. No, a little bit. A little bit. Right, it's the same money, but just a less expensive recipe. They're lowering their costs to bring it out at $599. And it's available in the black. What are they calling it? A special black? Gloss black. Okay, my hat's off to the marketing department. I did not see that coming. Cream white. Okay. Seafoam pearl metallic. Now, there they earn their money. Gloss black. How dare you? That is a color. Seafoam pearl metallic. You had me at seafoam. Yeah. Nice. Sure. Yeah. And of course, I'm sure you heard the news. Yeah, some people are reporting it that Fender bought it, but it's not so much Fender as the primary shareholder of Fender, which I don't know if that they're involved in the day-to-day operations of the business. It's just the people, it's just the money people, right? It's the It's a car dealership out of Hawaii, right? That's how they started to make their money, and then they started investing in all kinds of things that they were just interested in, and one of the investments is in Fender, and I think they are the largest shareholder in Fender. But it's not like Fender bought Reverb. It's more like the people that own Fender bought Reverb. All right. I have not played a Fender Modified yet, no. So, it'd be interesting to see what happens. I use Reverb all the time to sell guitars, not so much to buy them. If I'm going to buy a guitar, I tend to go to Guitar Center used. Their prices are way, way more competitive. And they have a generous return policy. Most sellers on Reverb it's pretty much sold as is. And as long as it's as described, it's no returns allowed. So I tend to go to a Guitar Center used. And you can get some good scores. The problem is that, you can't be in a rush. You've got to you've got to watch Guitar Center like a hawk, like every day. Because other people are, I assure you. I see guitars sell on there all the time. Say, oh, that's a good deal. Boom, gone same day. All the time. Oh, hey, what's up, Aljon? Let me show you a guitar. Now that you jog my memory here. And then I have a little photo from when we went out. You know what? We can do the when we went out first, and then I'll get to the other one. So let me just see where this. Okay. All right. Here we go. You all ready for this? So the other day, the day after we went to Buckethead, Speaker and I went out to our local Guitar Center, and we went to Music Go Round because I wanted to get some. They have a bunch of magazines. I've been stocking up on magazines. I actually just got a whole bunch more. So we were out in Natick, and they had this pretty awesome. Just as you walked in, there's this pretty awesome epi. Right there. That was pretty striking. In fact, the camera, the pictures don't really do it justice. That headstock looked pretty smoking. It was pretty dark, but we're in believe it or not, we're in a little foyer that has a skylight. So it's well lit. I thought it looked pretty good. This was in the used section. That's an Ibby Blazer. Thought that looked pretty cool. This was pretty nice. It's one of the inspired by LPs, caught my eye. Only $850. That was and that's real mop. I thought that was a friggin' deal. One of the best deals on the used shelf was that epi right there. And they had another one, which was also a pretty good deal, but not as good as that first one. This is the newer gen, so that's not quite the discount like that other one was. I mean, it's still nice and all. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that ebony one. I was like, Irma Gurr, I should just buy this. It's nice. This was, I think I'm looking at this Schecter V. It's almost like these inlays remind me of the bow ties that Randy used to have. It's like a Schecter, offset. I had that. What else did we look at? Oh, yeah, there was this SG there that I thought was pretty nice. Again, this is at Guitar Center. It's a nice, walnut. Colored. I mean, obviously it's mahogany, but it's like the stain. It's really nice. Nice looking guitar. For sure. There it is amongst the other guitars. Yeah. Pretty good. What else do we have? Oh yeah, they had a Strat that looked pretty good. I think that if you look at the head, yeah, that's the deluxe. You can see it's got the metal. That was kind of nice. I forget the price, but it was nice looking Strat. And this is the Rabia. This is way up high. I got like a 10x photo going on my lens here. They're doing a clean, but I don't think this is Rabia. This is the Sabre. I think they're replacing this with the Rabia. And I was like, is that one of the new Rabias with the new color? But it's not. It's a Sabre. There's the back of that LP. Tell you that LP was sharp. With all the red like that. Looking pretty good. Pretty sharp. Okay, now we're over in Music Go Round. This was of interest because it not only is it like a kind of a cool SG, it's like a 94, like a 96. So, you know, it's good years. Those 90s ones are pretty hot. It's in great shape, too, for being so old. Right? It's really good. And it wasn't that expensive, either. I forget, but it wasn't too pricey. Can I pull the price out? No. SG, stand original hard shell case, yeah. It was a nice guitar, though. It really was. Yeah, and there was another one. Now, this one, I don't think that's a crack. Believe it or not, I think that's a reflection. I forget. I think that's a reflection. Because I don't remember that. But that was a nice SG as well with the P90s. This caught my eye, but sadly, it's a homemade parts caster. And it just wasn't that. Once you got up close, I was like, more like meh. From a distance, it looked like kind of a cool Charvel. But then when you get up on it, you realize it's just a straight up, you know, it's not a Fender. I think he said it was a Warmouth neck, which got the bird's eyes. It's nice. I wanted like, I forget, was that like $1,300? Wasn't cheap. And then this was interesting. This was Steinberger. This is the ZT3, and it had a trans trim, which was kind of cool. Kind of cool with the trans trim. So that was our outing. There was one other thing I wanted to show you, if I can find it. I may not have, you know what? I don't think I have it. I never uploaded it here. They're still on my computer, but I had taken some screenshots. Hold on. Can I get on that machine? Let me bring that over here. Is that showing straight up on the network? Yeah. No, not there. Okay, I don't have the share. Okay, I'll have to get it, man. But I had found a pretty cool old Strat, but it had it. I was super hot to get it, but I noticed one huge flaw in the pictures versus the description, and it sold very quickly, as I knew it would, because it was kind of good shape and not very expensive. But I held off. I'll show it to you next week. It's long gone. What's up, Black Chew Bear? You picked up an Odin 2 Portal. Odin 2s are nice. In fact, they basically say the Odin 2 is probably the best. I think you got to get the $399 one, the 400. They say that that's the best of all of them in terms of like sheer power, you know, versus price. Someone wants to trade you a car slant 6V 1x12 combo. I don't know what that goes for. I can tell you this, that Silver Sky, the lowest it goes for, and I do mean the lowest, is about $4.99. You might find one, maybe two on all of Guitar Center for $4.99. Then they're quickly up to $5.50, $5.99, and probably if you looked at the listings, the median / mode is probably around $6.50. For the guitar. So I don't know what that cab goes for, but just keep that in mind. You can get it as definitely as low as $4.99. So, and the average is about $6.50 from what I can see. You could probably very quickly go on there, record every single price point into a Google spreadsheet, and have it calculate the mean, the median, and the mode, and get a really good idea of what it's worth, and by today's market. The red Epi Les Paul is a Guitar Center Musician's Friend exclusive. Okay. They have other colors too. Green. Yeah, you know what? Zounds does that too. I think that Sparkle V I had last year, that was a Zounds exclusive. So they do custom colors for big retailers. Makes sense. And Guitar Center for years had, what was it? The Traditional Pro. That was a Guitar Center exclusive as well, right? That whole series, We have at least one vote that says keep the Silver Sky. I have to say, when I had that Silver Sky SE here, I really like that guitar. It's just a good, Strat sounding guitar. It, in fact, I think at its price point, it might be one of the best Strats, quote unquote, you can buy. They do a good job with those pickups. They do sound pretty good. Does anyone use positive grid stuff? The Neo Hood. I've tried a few positive grid. I still have the little positive grid amp, not the micro one. I sold that one because it was just too small. I have the one that has to plug in, the original Spark. I still have that. I think the headstock is transparent blue. Right, because the back is blue. Yeah. Yeah, a little darker there, though. What? What? You hearing this crybaby? What's the matter? What? She's like, who are you talking to other than me? Little big old butt. Got a big butt with a big butt. Who's got this big butt? Ain't got a big butt and a big old butt. She is purring so loud because she's got a big butt and a big butt. She's digging in. Giving her the butt bongo. Got a big butt, got a big butt. Big butt, got a big butt. Big butt, big butt, got a big butt. Big butt. So my favorite clip of this week, let me tell you. Look up the Tiny Desk concert with Nile Rodgers. So Nile Rodgers has had quite a career. You know, he's with Chic. He's written a bunch of hits. He had the hits with Daft Punk 10 years ago. You know, he's had quite a career, and he did a lot of movie work. So they're in between tunes. You just go and look at the Tiny Desk concert. You can see right, go right before the big spike. They finish a tune, and he's sort of setting up the next tune, and the keyboard player launches into Soul Glow, which is just absolutely hilarious. Soul Glow is a fake product, just like so many fake products. That whole movie is full of them. And Coming to America, 1988, right? So 1988, Eddie Murphy and I would say Arsenio Hall star in Coming to America. And it's right, it doesn't work at McDonald's, it's McDowell's, right? So it's all these like alternative products to like real products. So the alternative product to Jerry Curl is, which is a hair product that to make afro hair look wet like all the time, right? The wet look. Jerry Curl is popular. They come up with Soul Glow in the movie, right? It's this made up product. And they actually have a commercial that plays in the movie. And it's this dude who kind of sounds like Prince, but it isn't Prince. Again, it's sort of like someone famous, but it's not quite the famous one, right? That's the whole thing in that movie, is all these like B-label stuff. And so this person who kind of sounds like Prince a little bit belts out this crazy like gospel tune for Soul Glow. And the keyboard player starts playing. You can see the drummer like nod his head like, oh my God, are you playing like Soul Glow? And they launch into it with the bass player. And he belts out the 30 seconds that is Soul Glow. It is so amazing. It's this crazy falsetto like Prince. He belts it out. And the look of glee on that bass player's face, I thought he was going to give himself a friggin', a broken blood vessel in his hand. He was clapping his hand so hard. He was like dying. He's like, yeah, oh my God, Soul Glow. Are you kidding me? So I would just, recommend you check out the Tiny Desk concert featuring Nile Rodgers and Chic. And you can like literally see on the timeline where it happens, because it's like easily the most replayed, part of it. And oh my God, it is so. And the whole tune is 30. It's a commercial, so the whole thing is about 30 seconds long. And he's hitting those falsetto notes. I was like, oh my God, that is awesome. Are you playing Soul Glow right now? Like, oh my God. And I think musicians can appreciate it, because in a real way, that little tune was kind of hot. It was a really cool little tune. It's like, give Nile Rodgers his due. But I think if you really listen to it, so it's. I want to say it's like. Just let your true colors shine for me. I think it's True Colors. Sure. Just write a different melody. I think the chord progression is True Colors, though. I think your true colors shine for me. I'd have to go, or very similar. Not Colon Blow, Super Colon Blow. Yeah, Soul Glow. It was a Jerry Curl like product. But, that whole movie is just chock full of made up products that are, modeled after famous products. Like McDowell's. In fact, I don't think anyone did Soul Glow, but a pop-up restaurant called McDowell's, and pretty much stole like the whole look, vibe, all the same, everything from McDowell's popped up, and the studio went after them and said, no, you're not doing this, and shut them right down. That there was someone who was like, who's going to come after me? Studios with giant, lawyer law firms working for them going, yeah, no, you're not doing that. You're not stealing that's copyright. And they went right after him. What's up, Ed? Yeah, they had the Big Mick instead of the Big Mac. And he's like, it's the same as the Big Mac. He's like, no, they have sesame seeds. Our bun has no seeds. Like, they were trying to point out. They have special sauce, and we have, like, awesome sauce. They basically, it was just one of those pointing out how just so much is ripped off, Did Eddie Murphy get sued? Yeah. Or what's still made in Mexico? These were never made in Mexico. A PRS and made in Mexico? No, these were made in Maryland. Stevenson, Maryland. The only company that makes guitars in Mexico, and they don't even say Mexico. Now it says made in Ensenada. They're like, figure it out, genius. Or Fender. Because they have a factory in Ensenada. Chopping broccoli. Yeah, right, they have the golden arc. Yeah, they were close, but not exactly right. I was way behind in the stream. I was talking about EVH. I don't, you know what? That's a good question. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that EVH, and I'm not positive, I'm going to say it's made in Indonesia. Because that's where mine was made. Unless they've changed where they're made. I'm going to guess Indonesia. Because I think the standard line is primarily made in Indonesia. I think you want to get to I think it's the special line that's made in Mexico. And it has the carved top. So if you're talking EVH, yeah, standards Indonesia, special is Mexico, and then the USA is, they make big, you will always know when something is made in the USA because they'll put it right in the goddamn title of it. It's the USA American. Yeah, right, James? Yeah, I'm right. Yeah, right. Indonesia sounds right. And Mexico for the special. A good discussion about how Fender no longer says made in the USA. Yeah, well, very quietly, many years ago, Grover moved their manufacturing to China, and you can't get a straight answer. Where are they made? They're like, we are an American company, right? But where do you make we are an American company. Listen, does it matter? You're buying from an American company that's American, and that's what. So, the rumor is just that Grover's been made in China for many years now. Was filmed at a non-linear existing Wendy's location. Really interesting. Well, they would need the physical plant to be able to pull it off. And if you're a movie studio, you're like, do we really need to build this? Can't we just go to an existing structure and just rent it? Right? Well, a lot cheaper than building your own fast food looking restaurant. A lot cheaper. Shocked at how chunky the neck is on a PRS. Oh, they can get chunky. I wouldn't say this is the chunkiest neck I've played, though. But, it's chunkier than what, certainly than their non-McCarty stuff. I think it's this is pattern vintage. I think pattern thin is definitely thinner. Exactly, burn back time. Listen, you can have a guitar made in Mexico by Mexicans, or you can have it made in California by, Mexicans. Who are the most famous people at Fender? John Cruz, though I think he's long gone. Abigail Ibarra. Ever since I got my Volas, I haven't played another guitar. I tell you, I love those freaking Volas. I love my Volas. They've been awesome. And they do the fret ends right. Had a little run of guitars there with kind of rough fret ends, especially that I would say the roughest one easily was that Fender Jazzmaster. And not even so much down here. It's like they kind of fixed them down here, but in the higher level, yeah, they were kind of sticking out. I was like, man, that's not cool. If I owned that guitar, probably one of the first things I would do would be to take the neck off the body and just run a fret file. They make one that you don't even have to think about it. It just like literally cuts those ends down. And I have tried it on some low-cost guitars, and it worked perfectly. So, without taking down the side of the... You just go a little at a time until the tangs are down. You just don't go nuts. I mean, if you sat there and went, real pushing down real hard over a very long period of time, you say, oh, geez, I guess I got into the wood too. But if you do it very, lightly and easily, you can say, oh, no, they're getting a little lower, a little bit more, oh, a little bit lower. And then you go, because it's got a big piece of plastic on the top and the file runs down the side. And then all of a sudden, they're perfect. And you're like, well, there you go. And I've tried it on low-cost guitars, in case it made a mess of them, and it didn't. They came out perfect. They came out amazing. So that's what I would probably do. I'd probably run one of those on it, but that's, That's not an 84, actually. That is a classic. That's a Pacer Classic, actually, this one here. No, you're not VAV 413. I'm not crazy about the reverse headstock. I've come to like them a little bit more, but I'm with you. I like just it messes with my head. Can't we just put the tuners on the top like a friggin' Strat? They have done a few models like that. I have told them I would like to see them do more, but they don't listen to me. So far, nothing. Well, behind me in the gig bag? Yeah. Yeah, that's getting ready for shipment back. Showcase the same guitar 3 times? I don't think so. I think the other ones were different. A little different. I tell you, these guitars stay in tune, man. They really do. Like the way it looks, but I hate it when I go to tune it. Yeah, not only that, but the lower strings, because there's no string, they have a string tree. I tend to remove the string tree, but I find that they ring out a little too much. I find the higher strings are better at not ringing out, and so I find myself, having to put a damper up there. placement of the 3-position switch is awful. So you hate Les Pauls? Is that what you're telling me? You're a Les Paul hater? I mean, I'm glad you can admit that now. But why do you hate Les Pauls? What did Les Pauls ever do to you? Huh? You hate a Les Paul? Is that what you're saying? You hate it? And mark the date and time. Because you realize that that's what this is, right? The quote-unquote McCarty. What are we going to do? We're going to put a bound neck on it. Go on. We're going to put the toggle switch up at the top button bout. Okay. And we're going to do a 4-knob situation and a tune-o-matic with a stop tailpiece. So you're making a Les Paul. No, it's not a Les Paul. It's a McCarty. It's a McCarty. I don't know. Some people really like this body shape. I think it's an instant classic. Well, you know, there's no accounting for taste, bro. I mean, it's no Albert Lee. Shape it so, guys. But I can't do it. Like I say, listen, the guitar is primarily a fashion accessory. So I say just get a guitar that matches your outfit. That's the primary criteria for choosing a guitar. Does it match my outfit? Didn't see a PRS and the song remains the same. Well, fun fact, they weren't invented yet. Song Remains the Same came out in 1975, and the PRS came out in 1986. So, you know, back in 1975, you really only had 2 brands you could choose from, and he went with the one that didn't squeal on stage, though he probably would have played a telly if he thought he could have got away with it. He kind of liked the telly more. Did all the studio stuff with the telly, but on stage for the hum, he went with the Les Paul. I'm just saying, if Jimmy Page was still alive, he'd probably be playing a McCarty. Probably. Listen, we can only speculate. Zakk Wylde version. The Bo Diddley Square. Now there's his shape. Yeah, or Steinberger. I think that's how this all started, right? Was I did a video Rice said, I'm just saying, if Hendrix was probably still alive, it'd probably be playing a Steinberger. You know? And of course, the very chill and relaxed guitar community was like, funny. They weren't like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, not they. That wasn't the reaction at all. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix is dead. Jimmy Neutron. No, not Whataburger. He'd be eating at McDowell's. He's dead, Jim. The R36 Plus is the weapon of choice. I just got an R36 Plus. It is nice. I mean, it's still an RK3326 chip, which is not certainly the, what is it, the RK55 23, what is it, 2055? There's a newer chip that's a little stronger, but not bad. You know, and certainly that all-winner H700, a lot of support for that chip. But, you know, that 3326 is pretty good. You know, it plays through, not really Nintendo 64 kind of chokes on that, really, like PS1, the original PlayStation. If you don't go too nuts with the shaders, it can usually play that at full speed, no problem. Sound in tune. Yeah, AC/DC's coming to town, but it's an outdoor show. Who knows? You know, it's rain or shine. There's a good chance it could be raining around here. You know, it's not like we're the Southwest where you get, you know, 20 days of rain a year. You know, we get we can get 20 days of rain in a month. So, yeah. And, you know, and dealing with the massive crowds, I can't do it. And you're basically watching them on a giant screen anyway. And everybody around you is belting out the lyrics louder than they could ever possibly get the music to you, you know. So you got to have to see, you know, shows like that in an inside arena, I think, for the best sound. It's tough. So, yeah, no AC/DC for me this year. I think they're playing Gillette, right? May 4th? I think it's pretty soon. Maybe it's later. I thought it was May 4th. We have a new member. What do we got? Matt's Guitar Channel. Welcome to Cool Bro. Bro. Shame. You have brought shame upon yourself and your family for the next 30 days. So Bobby came by the other day. He brought me a big bag of magazines. So I went out with Speaker. We went out to Music Go Round and I picked up a couple, but he had a whole box. Some of these I think I already have, but some of them I don't. I don't remember this cover. We got Beast of Burden, Shine, and Cleopatra's Cat. Right there, a little STP. What else we got? This is an oldie because it's got the old spine. Yeah, 94. And a very mature Petrucci holding a picture of Keith Richards. Because if there's one thing I think of when I think of John Petrucci's playing, it's Keith Richards. The old Van Halen. Right there. This is September 2007. AC/DC, You Shook Me All Night Long. Plain White Tees, Hey There Delilah. Pantera's Primal Concrete Sledge. Van Halen's Jamie's Crying. And the Rolling Stones' 19th Nervous Breakdown. Boom, boom, doo 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 doo. Are women the next guitar heroes? Sure. Sure. probably the only thing that's going to sell guitars these days is a nice rack for your effects and effects-related materials. This is July 1995. We got Space Truckin' by Deep Purple. We have Violet by Hole. And that's H-O-L-E, not W-H-O-L-E. Collective Soul with the song Gel. Sheryl Crow, Strong Enough. And the Dave Matthews Band, What Would You Say? Oh, man, so many good tunes. Where do you start? Space Truckin'. That's where you start. And he had this, which he gave me too. I think I already have it. I mean, who wouldn't have one of these, right? I'm pretty sure I have one of these already. But I'll cut it up and I'll run it through the scanner. I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Believer, Mr. Crowley, Flying High Again, Revelation, Mother Earth, The Steal Away, Suicide Solution, Iron Man, Children of the Grave, Paranoid, Goodbye to Romance, No Bone Movies, and D. Big D. There you go. Yeah, those are my old ones. So. Orianthe is pretty awesome, and so is what's her name? Nita Strauss. And Nancy Wilson. I saw her on Stern maybe a year ago with Hart, and she sounded friggin' great. You already have that one, Steve. So the other copy to me. Yeah, it's a good book. Yeah, I'd say Nancy was the original, but she wasn't. She was always the rhythm guitar player, right? Because didn't she have, who was the guy who played the lead in that band? Was it like Les Nessman? Howard Leese, thank you. That was close. The new Hagar Satch tune has some good licks. Oh yeah, I'll have to check that out. Who was bumping my leg? Who's giving me the leg bump? She's like, I need to be escorted upstairs. Satriani doesn't need a singer. I tell you, I picked up one of his albums. The radio in my car didn't work, and I had an MP3 player, and I was just wearing very loose-fitting earbuds and driving in my car. And I had 2 albums on that MP3 player. I had, and they both had pretty recently come out. And one was Black Swans and Wormhole Wizards. And the other was Balls Out by Steel Panther. And I had those 2 albums pretty much on an infinite loop, and I had to do that around that time, which was, I want to say, fall 2010 or fall 2011. I thought it was fall 2010, but I could be wrong. My God, it was just, could have been fall 2011. Man, I listened to both of those albums in just a constant loop. I thought the whole Wormhole Wizards album was just, I mean, just every tune was pretty damn awesome. And the good thing is that there was, I think there was a high def, I think it was a Blu-ray or a high def, a 720p concert that came out on that tour. So he plays almost every tune on the album. And I don't know his catalog other than the first one, and then of course that one. And then I think after I liked that one so much, I wound up getting his next one, which the name escapes me. But it's actually very similar to the one before it. It's actually very similar to the Black Hole from Wormhole Wizards, Black Swans and Wormhole Wizards. That's such a great album, though. It really is, right? Right. I can't even get the rhythm right. He's got some pretty cool, like, little rhythmic techniques that he pulls out. Right? So it's like cycling through. It's pretty good. I dig that album. You know, co-written by Bigfoot. Yeah. And that was from the album What It Is. Yeah. A sort of a gallop. Yeah, what's the album after Black Swans? I can't think of it, but it's a good one. Very similar. Have a good one, Jeff. Nelson? Crystal Planet? What year is that? That can't be right. I thought because that would have been, because Surfing with the Alien is 87. It would have to have been a little bit after that, 89, because doesn't he come out with an EP, right, that has right. 98, that sounds right. That's what I'm thinking when I think of 88. Waiting. Yeah. Was Not of This Earth the first release? I feel like that if it was released, it went nowhere, and then they put out Surfing with the Alien, and that was so hot. They were like, what else do you got that we can put out like right now? And he's like, well, I have this EP that like went nowhere. They're like, we're putting it out. Right? You know? Show did fly by fast tonight. I agree. All right, dudes, we should probably begin our descent. So, you know, please stay seated with your seatbelts fastened. Super thanks to everybody for hanging out tonight. Super extra special greetings and thanks to my new members. Welcome aboard. And, of course, Brofish to my mod squad. Hashtag Brofish. Hashtag mod squad. Hashtag Ben Coombs is around. Hashtag Ben Coombs at Christmas. And so we will do it all again next week. Of course, Monday, a new guitar of the week. And looking forward to this. It's going to be awesome. And the week, I think I have a second video coming out this week. I think I actually have two. Because I have one I shot a while ago, but then they were like, hold up, because the product isn't quite out to market yet. So just hold up for like a couple of weeks. And they just emailed me and said, okay, we're good to go. I said, okay, well, I'll probably put it out like this week on like Wednesday or Thursday. So keep an eye out for that video. And then we'll do it all again next Saturday. There you go. Yeah. And so there. And hashtag new guitar of the week. I've been liking the new guitar of the week segment. You know, I thought I might take a break in the summer and like skip, you know, a couple of weeks, but I don't think so. I think I'm just going to keep it going. When I will skip will be in the winter because they don't want to work, you know, they're taking vacation between, say, December 15th through about January 15th, roughly. So we're both in agreement about taking that break. But other than that, I thought I might take a little July break, take a couple of weeks off. I don't know. Man, whatever. Probably not. I just keep it going. Why not? All right, dudes, you have a wonderful week. I will see you all in a week. And there you have it. There you go. All right. No, you rock. All right. I'll see you in a week.